I have a sister, I love.
You're not lying.
I have to say this, lady,
You're
because
not
of the
lying.
IGTV things that we're doing,
You're not
I don't have to post pictures after the fact to show that it happened, which I used to do. This brings me a lot of joy.
Wait, no one has joined.
Okay, now you're live, so we can join.
No one wants me. Yes, Sarah.
You too.
Let me take you and this boy together.
Hi Zukiswa, hi Ndegwa, hi James. Hi everyone. Zooks, please go away because we're just waiting for more people to join in so we can start. Hi Le. Zuki, so why are you waving again?
Because I didn't wave at you.
Hi Paula. I hope so. Oh, Ndegwa, come on, just be patient. Just be patient, Yeah, Le, we are waiting for all your girlfriends to come in. Once everybody's here, we can start. Let's give it 1 more minute, right? Okay. Actually, 2 minutes. I still want to say hi to everyone.
Let's give it.
Surely. Anyway. Hi, Lamelle. Yeah, hi, Alma. Well, I think everyone is now here. So, Ndegwa, the book I'm holding is Ashes of My Heart, which is a poetry collection by Lamelle Shaw, who is our guest today. Okay, we know you're single. Okay. So our guest today is Lamelle Shaw. She's a poet. I'm just going to read her bio off the back of her book. Lamelle Shaw is a writer of Liberian descent based in South Africa. The first poem she wrote at the age of 15, Ashes of My Heart, about love during war, was published in Tears of Fire, an anthology by the U.S. National Library of Poetry. She was a featured poet at Arts Alive International Poetry Festival in Johannesburg in 2001 and has had articles published in the Oprah magazine Destiny, Real and Succeed in South Africa, and the Service Mag and Accelerator in Rwanda. She continues to perform spoken word and works in communications. This is her first book. So the book for everyone who is joining us now is called Ashes of My Heart. So I'm just gonna have Lamelle join us now so she can do a bit of reading and then we can ask our intelligent questions. Okay. Can she send a request? Okay, actually, let me see if I can find. Is it? Oh God, Remy's here. Oh my God. Hi, Lamelle.
Hello, hi, how are you?
I'm all right. You?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you clearly. Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you fine.
All right. So welcome to season 4 of Afrolit and Frontières. It's a place where we talk about books, but also people get to troll someone like Remy. So when you see Remy or Le, just ignore them, okay? So I was just wondering if you could give us a bit of a reading from your poetry collection, just so the audience can know how brilliant your work is.
Okay, so I'll read the title piece, Ashes of My Heart.
All right.
So this was written during a time when Liberia was going through a civil war,
All right.
and people were being buried in mass graves. And I thought about just a love story within that space. So Ashes of My Heart. Although my body should lie covered here in chipping stone, my grave holds not my soul, nor my decaying bones. Sure, it has a tombstone saying rest in peace, but the grave has no corpse lying at its feet. My soul has been charred, my flesh cremated, ashes shared among those I've loved and hated. I've left them all for somewhere better, but to you, my darling, I left a love letter, proclaiming my love till death do us part, in an envelope containing the ashes of my heart.
All right.
Short and sweet.
Are you going to read more poems for us? I think Remy is saying
Yes.
he wants more. So just read as many as you can as we wait for more questions to come in.
Okay,
All right.
fantastic.
Yeah.
So the tagline on the book says it's a poetic journey through moods, motherhood, and memories.
Yeah.
And one of the reasons for that is that I am diagnosed with a mental health issue. I have bipolar mood disorder, and writing has helped me so much to get through the different episodes, the highs and the lows. This poem is called "Letter to My Disease," and it deals with addiction and with bipolar. You keep trying to break me, snake me. You believe that just one won't take me. Heading head first down a path of self-destruction, trying instead to focus on self-construction. Your fake, lame-ass powers of seduction, the strength of my family and faith release me from their suction. Now you sit and wait idly for my resolve to dissipate. A little too close, but much, much too late. I've already experienced the depths of your wells of self-hate. You whisper softly, I'm your love, I'm your friend. They're all gonna leave you, just me and you in the end. I know friends like you who take and never give, who pretend they've got your back, sucking one's energy, rendering one their emotional slave. Aloof, backs turned as you head to your grave. Yes, it starts out like comfort, an illusion, a warm hug to a mother's breast, then ultimate abandonment ripping my heart out of my chest. Paranoid confusion, seclusion, delusion, sectioning, questioning, psychotic manic gesturing. You think I've forgotten those moments in time when you toyed with my minds, threatening to scramble, with my moods, threatening to scramble my mind. How close I came to losing it all. How quickly you fled when I expected you to soften my fall. You laughed at my tools, prayer, meditation, love, and jubilation. But I laugh last since you're no longer part of this equation. So go, take your baggage of shame, guilt, regrets, and fear. These days I travel light. Only love and peace live here.
All right. Are we getting more poems? I think there's already trolling that has begun in the comment section. So I mean, people are already talking about your eyebrows. I see Remy.
My eyebrows.
Yeah, Remy is so taken by you. I'm sure before this session ends, he'll ask if you want to be his second wife or something of that sort. So when you see such requests, I'm begging you, just ignore them. Just read for us more poems as we wait for the serious questions to come in.
Okay.
Yeah.
Somebody is asking, Zuki is asking, talking about meditation, are you spiritual? Yes. I mean, I believe that I seek to connect in a more spiritual way to the universe, to the world around me, and to God. And meditation has helped in so many ways, just to calm my mind, to center myself. But also prayer, also music, and yeah, all of those things.
All right. Yeah, just like I predicted, Remy has already asked, do you want to be his third wife? Now it's the third position. I
His
can't
third
keep up.
wife, you already have two.
Yeah, I think yesterday he asked Ngwatilo to be his second wife. So
Wow.
yeah.
No, I'm sorry, I have to be number one.
All right. He's also asking, how does writing assist in confronting the darker parts of your being?
How does writing?
How does writing assist in confronting the darker parts of your being?
I think writing, for me, even writing poetry, it started out as journal entries.
Yeah.
So literally just pouring out whatever was on my heart, whatever was in my head. And this is many, many years ago, even, before I was diagnosed. And, it just helps you kind of, when you see your thoughts in black and white, it just helps you actually have a compass and see where you are, where you've been, where you're going. You're able to plan better. I credit writing in a lot of ways as a kind of therapy.
All right. Okay, Remy is a mess. Okay, there's a serious question from Mukoma, who is this obscure writer. I don't know which country he's even from. He says most African writers do not publicly talk about their mental health. So it's really good that you have turned viewers into art. What would you say to the African writers regarding mental health and writing?
Wow. And strangely enough, it's true. People don't talk about it in Africa. It's taboo all over the world, but
Yeah.
especially here in Africa. And it's so common in the artistic community. Even musicians, writers, filmmakers. It's so, so very common. Um, it's also part of our gift. So there is, as much as there is disorder and chaos, there's also beauty that comes out of it. Um, I, it's a very personal and private decision whether or not you're going to disclose that kind of information.
Yeah.
But, and I even thought about it, should I really talk about this? Do I want this to be what I'm seen as? But the bottom line is, if it helps other people, um, like anything else, if you open it up, there's a quote that I really like by another British poet, where he says secrets are the stones that sink the boat. Take them out, look at them, throw them out, and float. And when I heard that the first time, I just thought, wow, it's so true. Once you take it out, look at it, then you're able to deal with it and move forward.
Yeah. Obviously, you talk a lot about your mental health, and even your poems have a very heavy mental health kind of positioning. So, James is asking, how much of an influence is your mental health in your work?
That's not all I talk about. I talk about love. I talk about
Yeah, yeah.
sex. I talk
I'm
about
gonna get there. I'm going to
politics,
get to the
moving
sex.
Africa forward.
I'm definitely going to get to the sex, but I just wanted to tie it into James's question and just know how much of it is an influence in your work.
I mean, I think it's an influence in that I make sure that I spend time alone.
Yeah.
And that is my writing time, whether it's, in the morning, in the evening, after the kids have gone to bed. But I know that I need to do that, and I need to unpack whatever's going on in my mind. And so as I'm doing that, some of that comes out in poetry. I've written a lot about identity, and
Yeah.
that's something that as a Liberian living in South Africa, I've lived in Rwanda, France, the US, the UK. and I connect with other immigrants writing about their home,
Yeah.
because you always have this longing, even if you've been away for a couple of years or decades. You always have this you know sense of searching for identity in your new home versus your old home, and what do you keep, what do you hold on to, what do you pass down to your children. So that's another part of my writing.
Yeah, just talking about identity. One of the things I noticed with your poems is that you write the the location. I'm imagining this is where you are when you wrote them. So there's Kigali, there's Maryland, there's the UK, and then there's Johannesburg, and you write all these cities and towns. So I just wanted to know how much of an influence is geography in your work? How is it that you link every memory of a poem to every memory of a location to a poem, or how does it influence your work?
Um, it started out as, like I said, they're journal entries. I initially, almost all of my poems. So it starts out as, just a little note for myself to remember where I was at the time, what my frame of mind was, what was happening in my life to inspire that piece of writing. Um, and then I thought, actually, let me put that in the book when it's being published so that people can understand that, you are influenced by what's around you. And, for
Yeah,
example, when I was in Rwanda for 3 years, and that was, most of the poems in the book were written in that time in Kigali.
yeah,
And it was just a space that inspired me creatively. I was around, a lot of people that were in the arts, and I was in a space where I was at peace. I had a very young child, and yeah, it was a good space and a good time. There have been other times where you know, things have been a little more shifty in my life, and the surroundings may have affected that in different ways. For example, right now with what's happening with Black Lives Matter in the States, if I was in the U.S., I'm sure I would be writing pages and pages about what's going on. As it
yeah.
is, I'm here in South Africa, and I'm more kind of meditating on it and seeing, trying to I, trying to internalize it and look at a sort of top down approach of how, if any way, we're able to make an impact and make a difference from here.
All right. So one of the things that has just come up in the replies is apparently you're related to the award-winning writer Elma Shaw, and so this is the question. So who is the Beyonce?
Who is the Beyonce? Wow. We write different genres, very different genres. But yes, Elma Shaw is my sister, and
Yeah,
I'm very proud of that, and I've watched her grow. I'm one of her biggest supporters. She also publishes, other authors, so she's investing in the industry, and not just it's not just her own words.
yeah.
So yeah, I'm a huge fan.
All right. So speaking of which, you've said you write in different genres. So which one do you feel is a better form of expression or a better medium of expression for you? Is it prose or poetry? And this is Remy's question.
Mm. Oh, I'm not seeing any more. Oh, now I see the
Yeah,
questions.
there's a lot of questions here.
Okay, now I'm
Yeah,
seeing them. Prose or poetry.
yeah.
So
So
I've written
prose or poetry?
some. For me, poetry. But I've also written some short stories that haven't been published. Um, but yeah, I think my thoughts just seem to come out better when it's condensed, um, and very punchy.
Yeah. Um. So Elma has also outed you. Oh man, this is the disadvantage of having a famous sister. So she has just outed you as a musician as well, and everyone, including Zukiswa, is asking if you can sing for us today.
Oh wow! How about I post my link to SoundCloud on here?
Well, you can just give us a bit of it so that we can, to motivate us to click on the link.
Okay. Wait, there's actually a poem that has music in it. Where is
Yeah.
it? I think it's called Trust. Sorry, let me find it. And I would
All
do
right.
that a lot in my live performances, is actually start with music and then go into poetry. Okay, this one is called Trust.
Yeah.
I was looking for something positive, but anyway, this one is more about it's more about getting over heartbreak. And one of
Okay.
my favorite singers is Tracy Chapman. So the words from the song are from her album. This time I won't show I'm vulnerable. This time I won't give in first. This time I will hold out with my love. This time I will not be hurt. Gonna love myself more than anyone else. Gonna treat me right. Gonna make you say that you love me first. You'll be the one with the most to lose tonight. I'm confused. Help me to understand. I thought my job was to be there holding your hand. If you just wanted a woman to touch when you were in the mood, should have got the chick from the club. At least then I would have understood. The one that gave you fireworks that you said I couldn't provide. The one you didn't even share your number with. The one who let you come inside. This time, I won't let my emotions rule my life. This time, I'm gonna keep my heart locked safe inside. This time, I'm gonna be my own best friend. This time, I'm gonna be the one to win your love, your affection, to hide my fear of rejection. This time, help me, I'm trying to understand. You led me to believe you wanted to be my man. Are you ready for the level of intimacy that requires? It means commitment beyond passion and desire. You're not ready yet to meet your butterfly. I can see it in your eyes. You're still playing games, still playing with caterpillars. But my heart once believed when you said, I'll share everything with you, baby, if that's okay. I want to believe, I want to trust. But trust has to go both ways, and so does lust.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
That's beautiful and powerful at the same time. So thank you, Alma, for letting us that Lamelle can sing, because otherwise we would have just gone without knowing this. But also, like, you can sing and you write poetry, and Alma writes prose and can dance. What kind of family is this? What's going on? You guys need to share a bit of that talent with the rest of us.
Wow, we come from a very eclectic background. We part of our family are Coopers, and our byline is Coopers are doers.
Okay.
So a lot of high achievers on that side of the family, and then the
I can
Shaws,
see.
of course, have also made their mark in the world of business mostly, but also catering and event management, and and then my mom is an artist herself, so she has been promoting and selling African art all over the world. So they've always encouraged us to follow, all of our passions, but to also make sure that we're making a life. So something that makes sense. You don't want to be a starving artist.
Well, all I'm hearing is this family has money, and there's no concept of the starving artists in this family. Like, oh, there is nothing like that in this family, because there's
Well,
catering and there's businesses and there's all this stuff. So no one is starving at all.
I mean, I don't think that it's an easy road. It's something, even for some of the other writers that are on here that I've talked to about saying, how do you do that? How do you support yourself full time as a
Yeah.
writer? And, I know it's a struggle. And, I've watched, like, even watching my sister do
Yeah.
fully embrace her art. I mean, I have a full-time day job on the side. This is stuff that I do after hours and on the weekends. So it's a very delicate balance.
Okay, so I was just going to ask, but before I go to that, how much of your poetry is autobiographical? How much of your life do you put into that? And just to tie it in with Ayesha's question, she's asking, how do you decide what stays in private and what you share with the world?
That was tough. That was even, I mean, as you can see, some of the poems in there are from like early 2000s. It's
Yeah.
Partly because of that reason, because I wanted to make sure that, what I put out there were things that I was willing to share.
Okay.
Even like I said, some of the poems are about sex, and
Yeah.
I know as an a young African woman, my aunties, all these people are reading these things, and hey, I had to be able to say, okay, I'm comfortable with that. I haven't published everything that I've written. Some things are very private, but most of it is autobiographical. Maybe not directly. Maybe I'll start with an emotion that I felt or that I feel, and then expand on that. But for example, I've also written things about physical abuse, which I
Yeah.
haven't experienced, but that was just triggered from the story of a friend, from reading, articles and hearing other people's stories.
Yeah. Um, Remy, please stop asking us about the starving artists. This shall not be discussed in this panel. You can see clearly. Does she look like a starving artist? Well, before I go into I go into this question, poetry or cocaine?
Poetry or cocaine? Poetry. Always.
How many lines?
10.
Okay.
I think it's
Okay.
just enough to have a beginning, middle, and end.
Yeah. All right. So everyone wants to know about the sex, and that's why we are here today. All those questions we've been asking before are just the filler. So one of the things you talk about a lot is, the sex life of whoever is talking in this book. We don't want to assume it's you. So can you tell us the journey about writing sex poems, especially? Oh wow, Elma, wow. Anyway, these guys don't want me to ask that question anymore. Anyway, just take us through the journey of
What? What
writing.
was said? I don't see. Where's the question?
No, so Remy said, Troy, start asking the sex questions. And then Elma said, Troy is taking charge of his interview. So there's a conflict of interest, obviously, here. But can you just take us through the journey of, talking about the sex and writing about the sex life of whoever is in this book? We don't want to assume
Whoever
it's
is in
you.
the book. I think it's another beautiful expression of the human body and the human spirit, and connection. And that's part of why I wanted to talk about it. But it's also very complex and very complicated in
Yeah.
so many ways. So that always intrigued me. And I used to go to the when I lived in London, I used to go to these poetry erotic nights where
Okay.
that those were some of the spaces where I felt like, oh, okay, it's actually safe to
Was
stand
that
up
in
there
Dalston?
and read spoken word. Huh?
Was that in Dalston?
Were there what?
Were they in Dalston? Because that's where all the poetry went.
No, 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 no. It was in East London. I won't say exactly where.
Okay.
But yeah, so I mean that's kind of how it started. And then even in Rwanda, there at some point, I don't know if he's on here, but Eric One-Key is one of Rwanda's most amazing poets and great artists. And he had a few erotic nights that were, and it's a very conservative country. So, it was kind of hush hush and low key. And he invited me to be one of the poets to perform.
Yeah.
And, it's so liberating to be able to speak about that side of life and, with fun and with all of its complexities. So yeah.
Okay. I was hoping for more, but for now we can take that.
What more were you hoping for?
Well, maybe read us one of your poems so people can get a sense of the description of sex that's in here. It's really, yeah, it's prosperous sex.
Okay, let me look for something fun
Okay.
because we've been very very dark for now. Okay, so this is a fun one, especially I think most of the people on here at the moment were kind of 90s. Well, okay, let me look at your face. Maybe it was before your time. But this is called R&B Afrobeats Dancehall Queen. And what I've done is I've played on words from different songs throughout the 90s and pulled it all together as a sexy poem. I'm your African queen, and believe me, I know what that means. It's ladies' night, but I want to hold you tight. Pills and potions ain't helping me win this fight. Love is what brought you home last night. I looked over to the left. Oops, there goes my shirt up over my head. Oh my. From Mr. Bump and Grind to Heavy D, waterbed, lingerie, candle, soft music. Nah, let's get the blindfold instead. I looked over to the left, to the left, to the left. Everything you own in a box to the left. That's only if you break the rules. Like LL Cool J, my love is old school. Don't call it a comeback as the pink cookies in a plastic bag swell while you're doing it, and doing it well. I know you can't love me now, but you'll love me later. Damn, I never thought you'd stick me for my paper. But I gave you one more chance because you begged for one more night. Smooth operator, sweet as taboo. Chocolate factory, I cherish the night. Step into my bedroom, honey. I won't even chop your money. I'll take you to the candy shop and I'll let you taste all I got. I'll let you get lost in my wilderness. These are open arms if you need tenderness. You were once a lone sailor lost in Lover's Rock. I'll be the dance hall port for your ship to dock. In the beginning, I listened to Mr. Vega's Heads High Kigu with a no. This definitely ain't no puppy show. But when you go down on bended knee, I have to admit defeat. You know your kisses and touches drive me wild. Like Kel said, let's go half on a child. Have a baby by me, baby, be a millionaire. Have a baby by me, baby. Your child I'll gladly carry. I'll be your beautiful Onie, the girl you want to marry. The girl you won't carry, but I don't want to brag, but I'll be the best you ever had. Because all of me loves all of you. If I were your woman or even just your girl, I could do things to you that would make your toes curl. But I don't want to go there. We should never go there. How does it feel to know that I love you, baby? I will be forever your lady, once, twice, even 3 times if you ask. If you promise you'll be there always, are you up to the task? Because you'll forever have a home in my heart. We've only just begun, the romance is not over. Let's rewind, selector, and choose to end where we start. I could dance with my father, but I'd rather dance with you. Or I could call you daddy, 1 + 1 = 2. But I'm a good girl. Although I want it, I won't beg for it. I refuse to wait in vain for your love. Because I'm going down when you ain't around. My whole world's upside down. I'll ignore this burning desire. You're like ice, but when we kiss, fire. I'm up all night for good fun, heat as intense as the African sun. Welcome to my sex room.
Oof, child. Cardi B has 24 hours to reply. Let's just check if we have a clean slot for tomorrow's session so that she can come in and reply. Anyway, that's the goodness that's packaged in here. So if you want to get this book, how can we get it? Is it on Amazon?
It's on Amazon,
Okay.
on Kindle and paperback edition.
All right. So BC, you had that. If you want to spice up your affairs, let me just say that. This is the book to get. This is okay. So Ndegwa still wants more. I don't even know what. And Leah is asking, can you tell us the location of the erotic poetry joint so that he's in London, so he wants to.
No, this was years ago. This was like 2013 or something. I don't think it's there anymore. Okay. I mean, it wasn't they moved around to different places. It was a collective.
Okay, so one of the things Zukiswa does is this thing called artistic encounters. And so we are just wondering if you've ever done it with your sister, where you're performing your poetry and she's dancing on her poll. Have you guys ever thought of?
I begged her so many times. We were in Rwanda together. And yeah, I mean, sometimes she would tell me up front that I'm not gonna embarrass you. I won't climb that pole. But
Okay.
no, she's amazing. She's an amazing dancer. She's awesome on the
Yeah.
pole.
So one of the things we are going to make sure is to get both of you in Nairobi or Namibia, but I don't know if there's any people in Namibia. I think there's only Remy there. So we are going to get you to Nairobi, and then we can just have our own artistic encounters.
Fantastic.
Yeah. I'm trying to see any questions, but basically, what your poem did.
Somebody is asking how does music, how is your writing influenced by music? So much, so much. I mean, you just saw that poem. That was,
Yeah.
I don't know, about 100 songs in that one poem.
Yeah.
But even growing up, I mean, my brother was also very much into music, as a producer, and he would always tell me, "Why do you listen to the lyrics so much? Why don't you just feel the beat?" And,
Yeah.
because I can't get into techno and house, and basically I need to. It's mostly soul for me, or reggae, or you know, I listen to the lyrics. I feel them. They actually like clutch my heart, and that's where
Same. Same.
the emotion comes from to then lead into poetry.
Okay. So James Murwa, who is the biggest book blogger in Africa, is asking, who are some of the poets who have influenced you?
Whew. Wow, so many. But it's kind of like, okay, there were the poets that came before I started writing, and then
Yeah.
the other writers, and then the poets that I'm reading now. One of my friend poets, Lebo Mashile, here in South
Okay.
Africa,
Yeah.
has always just really touched me with the way that she communicates about being a woman and being a mother. Um, I'm reading.
What just happened?
She is a young South African writer, with Cinnamon. But also, I've also taken from just prose writers, Toni Morrison, you know, uh, who else? There's, our writer, Liberian writer, Patricia Jabba Wesley,
Yeah.
who writes a lot about, finding identity and, reflects back on home. So, all of these writers, and not just poets.
All right.
And Madame Sukiso, our our uh, our organ to who we owe all of this festival to. Sukiso Wana, when I met her in many years ago, and she had just
Yeah.
started putting out her first couple of books, and I just thought, wow, okay, I had never even thought about being published or becoming an author or sharing my poetry with anyone else at the time.
Okay. Remy is asking when you leave South Africa and move to Namibia. Like, whew.
Where in South Africa? What?
Remy is asking when you leave South Africa to Namibia.
When do I leave South Africa?
Uh, can you hear
No,
me?
I live here. This is home now.
No, he's asking when you leave South Africa and move to Namibia.
Oh, send me an invitation.
Okay.
I would love to go.
Ndegwa is asking, do you know anyone from CAR, Central African Republic?
No, I don't.
Do you think it's a real country? Sorry, I don't know what's up with that. Um, can you guys hear me? Oh, okay. Okay, can you hear me now?
Yes, I can hear you.
All right. So Ndegwa was asking if you know anyone from CAR.
No, I don't.
Do you think it's a real country?
Of course, it's a real country.
Okay, because every guest who has been on this show has said they don't know anyone from CAR. So no, Remy is not. It's not Nairobi 3G. It's her phone call, man. You know, when you write such poetry, obviously you're on demand. Your calls are just, you know. Let me see if there's any other question. Um, someone is asking, how long have you lived in South Africa?
Off and on for about 20 years.
Okay.
I've left and come back, but I've been here for a while.
All right. Let me see. So this was published in 2017. First published in 2017. So everyone is asking, when is your next one coming out? So we can, you know, pre-order and get more sex and read more spicy stuff.
I am busy, writing more and more, especially now during this lockdown period. So, and when I feel I have enough collected, which will probably be in about a year or so, then I'll look for a publisher at that time.
All right.
But I'm still working on, trying to make sure that this current book gets distributed better within Africa.
I suppose.
Your sound is going in and out.
Okay, can you hear me now?
You're breaking up a little bit. Say that again. You're asking how can someone get the book if they don't have access to Amazon? It froze for a minute.
Okay, can you hear me now?
I can hear you now. Yes.
All right. Sorry about that. I'm not Ndegwa. I'm not on Zuku. Zuku is trash, you know. Um, I was just asking, yeah, in terms of distribution, how are you trying to make this book available all over the continent if someone doesn't have access
That's
to
that's
Amazon?
exactly that's exactly what my focus is at the moment. So it's published by Fort Publications, and I'm speaking to them about trying to get that out, get them printed as soon as this period is over and we have shipping available, and then actually having them made available to bookstores and where I'll be able to sell them directly as well.
Okay. There's a question from Yasir, I hope. Do you have hopes of going back to Liberia? Do you visit Liberia?
I do visit Liberia. I hadn't been for a while, but I got a chance to go back this year in January. I would love to go back home eventually.
Yeah.
Um, you know, now is not the right time for me for personal reasons, but yes, I would love to go back home eventually. I mean, there's a lot of work that we have to do to, improve the country, but it's
Yeah.
still home.
Okay. BC is saying you've actually inspired her to publish her collection of erotic poetry. So you see, you coming to this was actually a good thing because Now we are going to get to know more about BC and what she's been up to. I'm trying to see if there's any more questions. If you have questions or if I missed any question, just
I'm still reading Remy's
because
comments. They're hilarious.
yeah, Remy is a lot of work. Please just ignore him. We love him, but we know he's a lot. So, any other questions? Okay, Sex and the City. This is from Degwa. Make your pick. Carrie, Samantha, Miranda, or Charlotte. I don't know what that is, but
Yeah, Sex and the City. Carrie, Miranda, what?
Carrie, Samantha, Miranda.
Charlotte, because she's an eternal love. Are you still there?
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you now.
Yeah, Leah is asking, how is my South African daughter? I don't know what's going on.
She's fantastic. She's being my fan crowd over there, sitting in the corner.
Okay.
She says hi.
Okay. BC is saying Lamelle should have been on top. I don't listen. These guys now. This is becoming messy. Any more questions? Any questions, please? If you have any questions for Lamelle, please send them in. Remy is saying, "My God, 20 years in South Africa. We need to save you from that place."
Well, I left and came back. So, obviously something is bringing me back here.
Okay. Can you tell us what that is?
Well, I mean, I have family here as well.
Oh, all right. No,
So
I just thought maybe you're
that's the
doing
main
research for your
reason.
poetry.
Sorry?
I just thought maybe you're doing research for your poetry.
No.
Yeah, there's a question from James. What are some of your most memorable performances as a poet and a musician?
Some of my most memorable performances.
Yeah.
The one, like I said, for a long time, I kept saying I'm a writer. I'm not a performer. So I don't perform, and it was coming from a very insular place of, just it's me and my book and my pen. And then I started doing spoken word back in DC in the States, off and on here and there, but I didn't tell anybody about it. And then I went more and more into it in London, like I was speaking about. And when I was leaving London, my farewell party, actually, I invited all of my friends to Islington, to a Jamaican restaurant where they have a spoken word night, sorry. And I performed. I sang and performed poetry. And they were all so surprised. So I think that was the most memorable at the time. But they were also very, very supportive.
Okay. Mohale is asking, is there a book that you wish you had written and also a book that you absolutely adore?
The book that has had the biggest impact on me, as a person, as a African woman, as a writer, is Segu by Maryse Condé.
Okay.
And I read that when I was about 17 or 18. And it's a fictional story, but it's based on fact, a lot like how my sister Elma writes. In is the west coast, of Africa, where Liberia, Ghana, Abidjan, and Ivory Coast, where we're all situated. But it was before colonization, before the first slave ships, before and it's a story that goes through generations. And I just saw us, and saw myself in this story, and I could picture it. I could see my family and all of the descendants and all of that. So that book, is there a book I wish I had written? Um, let me think. So many books. What genre? I would say maybe Beloved
Okay.
by Toni Morrison.
Yeah, that's a wonderful book.
Yes, and very very political, very deep, very deeply misunderstood as well, even when it was eventually
Yeah.
made into a movie. Yeah, it's one of those books that you read it and you just can't forget.
Okay. So I think there's no more questions. I can't seem to find any questions. So one of the things we keep asking in this platform or in this festival, if you come in and you're looking good, you're popping, you're radiant and all that, what's your skincare routine?
Okay, that is a very strange question for.
This is
Okay.
Afrolit. Anything goes. Absolutely anything goes. There's no strange question here.
Wow. It is very, very super, super, super simple. I literally use tea tree oil,
Okay.
diluted tea tree oil to clean my face, and use shea butter afterwards. None of those. I mean, I spent years, I used to work for L'Oreal. I spent years, with Clinique, with this, with that, with all these other products. And then when I need to actually get rid of any of the buildup, I use
Yeah.
black soap.
Okay.
So
See,
I've gone back to our West African roots.
Remy, Dr. Ndlovu, take notes. This is how you achieve such good-looking skin. Um, okay, so I don't think there's any other questions. So maybe you can read for us one more poem before we close, and then, yeah.
Okay, let me see. Okay, this is kind of a different side.
Okay.
Also a bit tongue-in-cheek, but it's Africa is has my heart. It's everything that I just really feel like it's our future.
Yeah.
So this poem is called "The Future History of Africa." The Africa we want to see, they said. Development and democracy, the dry bones on which they fed. Kinako Africa. It's time for Africa. Waka waka, eh, 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 eh. Do we need a Brazilian to tell us it's our time? As if we don't know? Just because we choose not to let it show? We've had undignified deaths, knowing walks to the altar, just to be beat down with loopholes and red tape slaughters. Lumumba, Taylor, Bagbo, Gaddafi, and even Saddam, though the media will tell you he was just an Arab man, his skin was brown enough for them to kill and convict. But those charges against Uhuru, they couldn't make them stick. Mugabe ain't going nowhere. Well, they now know with Uncle Bob not to even go there. I don't mean to be facetious, but you have to admit it's a little suspicious. So the Africa we want is simple when read. We want every child to go to bed loved and fed. We want to remember who we are, a time when we were guided by stars, connected to our ancestors, to one another, community living pulling together, standing firm in our heritage, souls filled with pride, celebrating our cultures, shining our bright lights bright, nothing left to hide, writing our own stories, singing our own songs, landing anywhere on the continent feeling like we belong. We want to dissolve borders with continental passports that unlock all doors. We want travel within to be cheaper than travel across our shores. We want to promote education, reawakening, healing. We want to help bring back that Ubuntu feeling. where when I have or you have, we all get to eat, when we humbly offer to wash our visitors' feet. We need to appreciate knowledge of self. We must now acknowledge our true wealth. Let them fight over oil, diamonds, and gold, when the true battle is over our souls. A greener earth for our sons and daughters. World War III will be over clean air and water. Africa has been branded as the runt of the litter, yet everything that's gold doesn't glitter. We could rise from the ashes like we've done in the past, build a future history meant to be odd and last, but none of this will take place if we don't unite, because Afrophobia exists, and the other is no longer white. So Africa's future history is somewhat of a mystery. The story is waiting to be told. The future is under our control. We can choose love, we can choose light. We can choose to run, we can choose to fight. Mind you, not choosing is also a choice. Speak the hell up. People died to give you a voice.
Wow. I think that's a really powerful place to end things. That's a really good poem, and you've given us so much to think about. And yeah, I'd highly recommend this. If you can get it on Amazon, just go on there. It's called Ashes of My Heart by Lamelle Shaw. Lamelle, thank you so much for joining us today. I really appreciate this, yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you.